pretty set for a while there. Tonight we are dipping into the final chapter of this horrific 9-part blank cover series, all red covers. This is the Blood Hunt Marvel series, where the Avengers get attacked by vampires. And the villain, spoilers, well, it's been about 3 months, is Blade. So Blade is on attack. This is not Blade, this is the last part. I was holding this off for last because I didn't know a whole lot about Union Jack, if anything. So I put him in the grand scheme of things. When you put all these covers together, they form one big image, kind of like a Sistine Chapel, if you will. And that is pretty extraordinary. I don't know if anyone, I've never seen any comics do that. But I think it's pretty extraordinary. But yeah, this guy, this character, I wasn't getting any heat from him. I read the comic. I mean, you look at this thing, it is just, who's this guy? He looks like a wrestler. And I think the idea is like he's just I think he's just like supposed to be the equivalent of like Captain America, only the British version, but he doesn't seem like a secret agent or backed by the military sort of thing. It's just, it's very odd. And the fact they make him like Union Jack the Ripper or something. It's a weird one. It's very weird. I'm gonna try, see, I did some of the background here first. I think it would help me like fill in a lot of the awkwardness of drawing this guy, but I'm trying to decide where the outline of his arm is, because I tried to highlight him. So yeah, every part of this I've been pretty stoked for. Like I didn't mind, like even characters I've never drawn before, even like Jubilee or Doctor Strange, or hell even Hawkeye, Dagger. Dagger I was kind of looking forward to. But the big ones like Jubilee, it was weird. Those were all great. This guy, I was like so perplexed. I kept it in the back of my mind even when I was drawing the other covers. And I'm just like, how the hell do I do this guy? It's like Captain America, but he's British. And he's got like the British flag on his chest, and that's all I know about him. And the Union Jack the Ripper, that's just like another layer on top of it. So, so it's hard to figure out where to pinpoint him. So I rolled it around a bit, and I'm thinking like, well, I'll kind of start, as an outline, I'll start with making him, sort of like Captain America, like as a baseline, or at least like a Winter Soldier, It's definitely more intimidating, It's like it's a superhero with a flag on his chest, but what else can I do to make him more menacing, especially with like Halloween and everything sort of coming together. We're in that season now. We're in spooky season. It's my favorite time of year. Not only because of the weather and the fall leaf changes, and it's colder. Believe me, I love the cold weather more than the hot weather. But I want him more menacing. I want him cooler. So, what's cooler? Like scarier, right? So I'm thinking, all right, I'll make him scary looking. So I started playing around with some reference and sketching out this mask, and I think it looks cool, especially with a title like Union Jack the Ripper. So he's covered in like vampire hints, much like the other covers. This is the last part of this 9-part cover series. be attacked by hands, much like Wolverine, much like Jubilee, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man. The unifying thing that connects all these covers, aside from the red, the red covers, he is. But on top of that, it's not like even the hands even bother him, because he's just a killer. He's a ripper. I think Marvel, it's like Marvel's take on The Boys, Billy Butcher. That's kind of where they're going with it, because he's very English. Not English as a proper, but like Tulsa. Did I say that right? Tulsa. Oh, Wanka. That sounds like a breakfast cereal. Wankers. Doing the flag on the chest will be interesting, to say the least. I'm just excited to be done with this. I know I'll be done with this week, and all my parts will be done, and I can make the poster, and the poster will be extraordinary. It'll look like a horror movie poster. So, I'm great to use like all 9 of these covers. But while I've been doing this, I've also been collecting covers too. So I want to get through those. There's 4 covers. They just released like new X-Men series, and I've just got a set of paint markers, and I'm really excited to use those paint markers. So after I'm done with this series, I'll start with that X-Men series and start dipping into those. And they're pretty cool. I think the first one will be Emma Frost. And I don't have a whole lot of I don't do really like highly sexualized female characters, and I don't know, mainly because I don't want to get stuck in that genre, or people assume like, oh, stuff he does is so pornographic. Like I do, like all my stuff is tame compared to what's out there. But I don't know. I feel like I might appeal to bigger collectors if I do something more risque, more on the sexual side. Because I don't know. I haven't done a whole lot of sexy characters. Like I want to do a Black Cat, and that character is notoriously pure sex. But I don't. Oh, I just put flat out nudity out there. Axel, what are you doing? It's my dog. What are you doing? Jump up. Oh, how's everybody's weekend? We finally got rain. I don't know if you're right. We've had a drought here. I live in Ohio. And we've got nothing. We've had no rain for something like 5 weeks. But now it's storming. If I lose you, and it's because the power came out. Because we got so much rain and flash flood warnings. That's all that. I cannot wait to be done with this. I'm so excited for it. I see some viewers popping in and out. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad the video found you. I understand this isn't the best setup or way to see this, but the end result will be more impressive. I almost forgot I had to do one of these tonight. That's how it usually goes. I've been keeping up with them. They're so much easier than... This has become more regular. It's easier than just doing a podcast. Because podcasts you have to edit. Like, live stream you can just shoot. It's pretty fun. But yeah, doing this. And I mean, it forced me to like spend an hour drawing this. Easy to do. Okay, should I go on this side? I don't know, ordinarily, you could just throw it on there. It's just nothing but lines. But you know how Captain America, his costume went through like so many different iterations. But I wanted to do something a little unique. And the Marvel's art department or whoever does it, they're all, it's solid. I mean, I can't imagine why you would spend so much time on it. Plus, it's probably more down to earth. I mean, Marvel does a good job at making all their superheroes relatable, or all the characters relatable. But actually, I picked up a comic today on the way home. Um, I was actually kind of hunting for it. I didn't want to order online because, the price, shipping, all that fun stuff. And so I wanted to like just find it, and we got surplus of comic book shops. We do not have a shortage of comic book shops. But I went looking around. I probably went to every shop in town or called every shop in town. Losing power. Um, and I went to look for it. It's called Uncanny X-Men issue 240. And it started this Inferno series, which spans over something like over a dozen comics. I'm like, if I see those in the bargain bins or in the dollar bins, I might collect them all. But I saw a panel for this issue online, and it was intriguing because it was Colossus. I think he was trying to draw Storm or Jean Grey in the nude. And I'm like, what is happening? I didn't know Colossus was an artist. So I'm trying to, dig for more context of this issue. I mean, hell, I probably could just download it somewhere, someone please scans of it. But I don't know, I like seeking out stuff like that and having something tangible. But the art was really good. Hey, hello, SALA. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. But I needed more context to that panel. I'm like, I didn't know Colossus was an artist, much less like there was a scene between them, like painting. But then people in the comments of that panel were like, oh yeah, then ninjas come in, Dazzler comes in rollerblades, just bursting through the window. I'm like, okay. And thankfully the comic shop I went to had it. They got a lot of comics, even just to browse. But I lucked out because no one else had it. Kind of like this Dazzler blank I was supposed to get last week. I know I probably talked about it last week too, but I am just so miffed at that. Hey, Sydney Crothers, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, once I found, thankfully, I found that issue, and now I can read it. I haven't even read it yet. I came home, ate dinner, and started setting up this live stream. Try to work on this face a little bit too, just so I have something, something to show people. I mean, because I know it's not the best angle because of the sheen of the pencil and everything, but I might dip into this flag here. The man's got a flag on the chest, and I need to bring that up. I also wanted to find a little bit of this arm, maybe. Yeah. I'm so ready for spooky season. Oh, you know what? You know what? I don't hate it. Hate is a strong word. The fact that I feel like last year you were able to watch all the Friday the 13th all in one place, like on Netflix or something. And this year, you can't find, you can find them on streaming, but you gotta pay for them. And I don't like that. It's such an old movie. Why isn't it just available for free, It's just open to the public. Because part 6 has not sharpening, going straight in. Trying to find the center of this chest. And where to make my lines. Yeah, that works. Get some pectoral muscles built in there. Try and get some line in there. Get some definition. Sometimes with a patterned flag, you can lose detail. I know there's like so many patterns in the history of superhero costumes, but flags are tough. Thankfully, British flags are like so symmetrical. But I think when again with the white pencil it'll help. Oh god, I was actually really pleased with the Ghost Rider issue I came out with last week. I was very happy with that because I've never ever drawn Ghost Rider before. Know nothing about the character. Went on about it last week about a different universe of like an Avengers comic I wrote or read, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, I know zero things about Ghost Rider. So zero things about this character. I don't even know about this character, but he is the last part of my series, and he is a means to an end. Originally, I didn't even want to do this. I have another red cover that is Blade, but the problem is the Blade cover I have is not part of this Blood Hunt series, and I'm very much a completionist. Excuse me. I am such a completionist that I couldn't do it. And when I found out that there's a Union Jack of this series, originally I turned this issue down. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't know anything about Union Jack. No one's gonna want Union Jack. But then I found out like, oh, they're making more of these Blood Hunt comics, and I'm like, well, that would be great because I did pick up some of these, but I picked up in different titles like Spider-Man and Black Panther, Wolverine, and so by that point it was too late. I'm like, okay, so I'll do Blade. Started counting how many comics there were. I'm like, okay, there's 9 of these. Blade makes 10. There's not really a way to make 10 comics unless I'm doing like a horizontal 2 rows of 5, but that could have gotten tricky. Plus, where do you put the Blade issue? Ideally you put the Blade issue at the center and just have Blade as the center, but and I'm such a Blade fan. But yeah, the completionist in me wanted to keep all the Blood Hunt comics together. So I had to include Union Jack somehow, even though I didn't want to because I know nothing about this character. Um, gotta challenge yourself. And yeah, it would have been awful. Plus, I don't know. I'll do the Blade red cover at some point. Because I do have a blank of Bloodline, the daughter of Blade, so I might make those a set. Yeah, especially with Wesley Snipes coming back as Blade, or he came back in Blade in the movie. If you know, you know. Um, but yeah, I was so excited for that. Ugh. But yeah, the next series in this, yeah, I'll be doing those X-Men comics. I'll be breaking out the paint markers, because those blanks aren't really blanks, they're just full color sort of covers with titles, and that created an interesting opportunity. Like, normally you wouldn't draw on those, but now I have access to paint markers. I can draw on anything. But yeah, so was not excited about doing this. Have I said that yet? Meanwhile, there might, I don't know, not a lot of, I don't know. I was just holding off on this for last. Some artists might do the one they hate and just make that the first one, but, or second one, or the middle one, but I don't know, I feel like that might distract me because if I wound up having any of these covers, if I wound up having a bad cover, that might discourage me from finishing. Because, I don't know, of course there are projects I've done in the past that I've never completed, but it's hard to remember one that I'm like, oh, I started it, didn't finish it. And this is one I really wanted to finish. And as an adult, I always finish my projects, but I felt like I could pick any time or any reason and just give up, like, just go do something else. But this was a big one, and it eliminates a lot of comics out of my stack. Like, if I didn't do this series, I would have 9 books in my box, not doing anything. So, and you know what? Now that as I've been doing these, been acquiring blanks of they've been reprinting Crisis on Infinite Earths, um, that whole storyline, and that's 12 parts. And those are blanks that I got sitting. And you know, I'm not gonna do that as one big poster like I've been doing these books. At least I don't think. I don't think so. What would that be? That would be like 3 rows of 4 or 4 rows of 3. So it's either going to be like tall or wide. I don't know, I might lay that out, but they're also not the same color. They are different colors. They're like blue, black, purple, sometimes white, and it's that would be very hard to coordinate. And you know, of course, you gotta do them in order. You know, issue 1, 2, 3. You know, 1, 2, 3, all just like that. So I might just do them individually, like put them together. Maybe they don't look like anything, but how's that? Is that looking more like a flag? Do you see that? Okay, I hope so. Yeah, this. I was trying to not make him look like Batman at all. Like, you put yours on anything, it looks like Batman. But, yeah, 12-part series of A Crisis. That would be hard to do. And hard to plan out, and especially they're not going to complete all those. I mean, it's going to be like next year before I get all 12 issues, and by that point, that's a lot of comics. And of course, I do want to sell all my books, but yeah, no means do I want to keep this. I mean, I always cherish them and the memories they took, but inevitably, I would like to sell. Let's go in here. Fill in this red. Make this look like a flag. Shabbat. I'm not hating that. Of course, this might be the bad one. This might be the bad cover. I'm actually digging this, how this is looking, so, I mean, it's not by any means my favorite, you didn't know anything about him, and you saw this cover, this issue on the stand, and it'd be like, it's Union Jack the Ripper. Okay. I'd be like, but if you saw this, as I'm painting, I was like, okay, maybe he's a reincarnation of the actual Jack the Ripper, you know? That's pretty dope. More interesting than they have going on. I don't understand. Like, reading this comic, I don't understand this character's motivations. Maybe they can tell me the origin story of Union Jack. That'd be super helpful. Because maybe I'm getting it completely wrong. I saw a great comic book artwork tonight when I was looking for the comic I got. It was a Witchblade cover, and it was done in the style of this Uncanny X-Men, you know, with Wolverine on being crucified on a X-Men cross, and it was in that style, but in like the shape of a W for Witchblade, and there's Witchblade on there, and like on a mound of skulls, and it looked really good. I took a picture of it. To post it to my play group where I play Magic the Gathering with, because they also collect comics. But I was just like, dude, if that was original sketch cover, I might have to buy that. But it was just like a print run or a series that they did, so it was just like a normal comic book, and it was like $40, but I'm far too cheap to spend $40 on a comic book, unless of course it's something I should really spend $40 on as an investment. But it was good. Yeah, I would love to track that down, see how much the real one is. Probably way out my price range, but hey, we could work out a trade. Artists trade with each other all the time. Like, hey man, I got this 9-part Blood Hunt series. Would I though? Would I trade all 9 issues for that? Man. You know, a cover like that probably took him maybe an hour to do. Not diminishing on his talent or anything, but I'm just saying he is that skilled. He can make it look that good and probably only spend an hour on it. Whereas this, you know, these covers probably took me at least 40 hours to do. So, but would I make that trade? Yeah, I don't know. I could not tell you. What would I trade? If I was trading all 9 parts of these books, what would I trade them for? If I'm talking about material value. Would I trade them for comic books? Maybe, if they were like key issues or something. I'm not one, and I'm not even a collector like that. I don't collect books based off a series. Like, not as an investment. Like, I read them, and I don't know, I am a collector in a sense. Like, but I do read them. And mostly for fun. But because I'm such a completionist, I like the full story. And also in the back of my mind, I like being able to say, oh, I got that. If it becomes like something, you know? Or it makes me like wonder, like, oh, whenever they reference something in pop culture, like, do I have the first iteration of that? And it's pretty fun. I mean, little did I know that Miles Morales would become a big deal as a character in Spider-Man. I kind of thought it was I don't know, a fading trend or something. But they wound up like making movies, and just the character wound up taking off. And little did I know, I'm like, oh, I think I have the first appearance of Miles Morales. And to me back then, it was just a book. Just something I kept in the collection, so. But you'll have moments like that. Like, you were just into something because you gonna be more dramatic when I um, get the white pencil out. Won't be tonight, but it will be this week when I finally have this done. But yeah, follow me on Instagram if you want to see all the progress up until now. I'm just, you ever work on like the last part of something and it just feels like a field day, like the last day of school or something. It's like this is it. This is just like all I gotta do is be here, work on this, and it's done. It's just done. That's all it has to be. And you're glad you planned everything out. I'm glad I planned everything out. I don't know. Like I at least planned out the background for all these, so I knew they'd be cohesive. It would be crazy to try to plan out every single one before I started drawing them. I think drawing them and then doing them one at a time, yeah, that was a lot better. I mean, thankfully it was. I mean, could do the Star Wars approach and just do each one at a time and not have them cohesive in style or storytelling. Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars apologist. I think everything they've done that's new is shit. I'll say it. It's bad. Everything's bad. Nothing is good. They should just power bomb that entire series and restart. Let Mark Hamill write everything. He's actually a good writer. He had his own comic book series in the 90s. Don't think it lasted, suffice it to say, but when you've been playing a character for like 40 years, I'm sure he's got some ideas on what that character would be doing in his sequel. But Disney doesn't necessarily care about that. And that is all for Conspiracy Hours this week. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they think as a corporation or who they're trying to pander to. It is the Pandaverse. Or the Pandaverse. Union Jack the Ripper. Does he look like a killer? Does he look like a ripper? I hope so. Let's see. Where am I going here? Part 9. This is it. Oh, so we're gonna be done with this. Should we go into the bell or should we go off here? I think I might go off here. Yeah, I want to start this hand. For that, I can sharpen my pencil. Viewers popping in and out here. A lot of people are finding this. I don't know if it's me being consistent or popping people's algorithms for no reason. Alright, let's see. I think I want to do this hand. That will help make decisions down the line. I don't know how many hands I've done for this series particularly. I've done so many hands over a lifetime, but lots of details. And thankfully there's not many hands in this, but they do help sell the look of the situation, the context of everything. Sorry about that. I know this isn't the best view, but it's gonna be worth it, I promise. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh god, lights are flickering. Yeah, we've just had rain coming down all day, and pretty sure it's classic flooding. The exit when I came home on Friday was flooded. I thought I was gonna run my car through it, and it's not gonna have enough power to get through. like no reason. Ready, have this done. Maybe you have like projects, you're just like in the final chapter, you're just like, it's done, it's over. Well, like, I don't know, when I have this done, it won't be entirely over. I still gotta scan it and put it next to the other 8 covers and make it work together. And then design the poster. Poster will be interesting. I'm basically gonna take like the logos, fonts, and kind of work them in to make it look like a horror movie poster. Which that'll be the fun part actually. It's actually gonna be more fun than this. Also a little bit of a challenge itself because um, doing this it kind of feels like I'm executing something, whereas if I'm designing a poster for it later, I'll be kind of creating something. I'll be like moving things around. Playing with type is always fun. I might go for a more vintage look. Or a modern one. A more modern one. Which, yeah, the inside is. What I like about comics now, they do like this recap at the beginning of the book. Like, if you're going, if it's your first Spider-Man comic, figure to say, Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider, thus making him the amazing Spider-Man. So, if you pick up a book and you're not completely familiar, you're like, okay, which version, which multiverse am I in right now? Which, goddamn, do a different multiverse. Just don't do multiverse. Like, it's nice that literally everything is canon now, but that doesn't have to be your main story every time. Let the Spider-Man live in their own universes. We get it. Do it for an anniversary or something. I don't care. Made a lot of progress tonight. I'm happy we got the chest done here. Working on a hand right now. I have some of this arm done. I'd love to get the top half of this all wrapped up. Because I got a big old stroke here that I might work on. But yeah, it's more exciting. It's more exciting to work on the detail of the actual body. And this arm here, yeah, I think I can do that. Yeah, I like waiting until the stuff of this is a little bit more blunt, because then I can work on parts of the background that don't need a whole lot of detail. And I cover more ground. Things like the crevices of this arm or the hand. Um, I need a sharper point in order to fill it in. So I do wait on things like the background in order to do them with a not so fine point. And it saves a lot of the pencil. Like you notice if you ever use crayons when you're a kid, how they'll start off sharp and then they'll lose their sharpness, and then you're just left with a stump, and you can't get in like any detail. And color pencils are much the same way, but only you can sharpen them. Some boxes of crayons that used to have a sharpener. Have you ever had that? Like where it's like the sharpener in the back of the box, and sometimes it works, or sometimes you just mash a crayon in there, and you just twist it, you do everything, but the thing never gets sharpened. And I don't think it's something they Crayola thought through at the time. It's like just such a weird device. You get how it's supposed to work, but it hardly ever works. Oh god, what did I watch? Uh, production stance, but like I know nothing to keep me motivated, but I just want to. I'm just on the lookout for like different materials I could use, and one of them I did. One of them they did review, and I use it all the time. It's charcoal watercolor, and not charcoal watercolor. It's graphite watercolor, and I use it all the time in my sketchbook, and I love it. But aside from that, it's like, okay, I bought 100-year-old crayons or color pencils, and this is what I do with them. Like, okay, why would anybody in real life want to use 100-year-old color pencils? Um, just why? Unless you're trying to, I don't know, it'd be an interesting challenge to, I don't know, sell a forgery or something. It'd be interesting to try to pass off something like, say, if I got 100-year-old paint or something, and I got 100-year-old canvas, and I did a painting that looks like it was made 100 years ago. Could I sell that painting to a gallery or something, maybe a collector, and say, hey, found this in the attic, and I mean, that'd be an interesting challenge, see how good the experts are if you could fool them. I would take that challenge. Because, I mean, I don't know, there's a fine gray area within, like, I don't know, forgery or something like that, where, like, you're allowed to, like, copy things, but of course you can't pass it off as your own or try to manipulate, because that's fraud. But it'd be an interesting challenge to see if, like, the so-called experts would be able to tell a fake, you know what I mean? So, not that that has anything to do with this, but I'm just talking because I have 15 more minutes to fill. So, but yeah, I think I'm fascinated with what people could get away with. It's like people who commit forgery, though, are crooks, but they are creative. Like I heard about this story of like some kids. I forget what it was. They maxed out their credit cards or something by hitting like all the ATMs and just like split town. And or no, did they steal it? I forget. I do not know the ins and outs of it. But they were able, or no, they opened some credit cards and then told everybody online like, hey, here's the credit card info. Just max out as much as you can. And they wound up like, people wound up like stealing millions of dollars from this bank. And, before the bank even knew it, they were just like, oh shit. And I'm like, well, they played the system, they got away with a lot of money, and, like, of course, it didn't work. They ruined their lives. They're in jail now, and, just their lives are completely ruined. But for a split second, they, like, found a loophole. Granted, it wasn't an elegant plan by any means. But for a hot second, they found a loophole in the system. They broke it. And somehow, whether it's legal or not, they were able to get something that they want that they couldn't have worked for in a lifetime. And they just did it. And I don't know, there's something about that I appreciate. It's not terribly clever, it's not elegant, but it is something to do. Yeah, you could say the same thing for someone going into a grocery store or convenience store and just robbing it or something like, I did something and no one ever thought to do that. Like, nah, that's not the same thing. Not quite the same thing. Yeah, big blotch of red here. take out the head alien, and it basically reverts everybody back to their original form. But yeah, you got stuff like violence and gore and shit like that. You don't know who's an alien, who's not. When they do, when they figure out a weakness to it, they um, use it as their weapon, which turns out cocaine or something is the weapon. Kind of like Cocaine Bear, which I still haven't seen. I want to see it. I've been disappointed by new horror lately. I watched Lisa Frankenstein last week. I could not get into it. And I usually like stuff like that. I usually like stuff that's stylized. I don't know. It wasn't hitting me the right way. Got about 9 minutes left of this live stream. If anybody would like to ask any questions as I'm finishing up this section. We covered a lot of ground tonight. Got the head, chest, upper arms, hands. Did one hand. And that's pretty good. I'm happy with this. Probably not going to stop after this then. I'm probably going to work on it some more. Although I am tired. Might do something else. Yeah, I might watch my movie. Did leave myself some lines so I can add paint strokes to this. But yeah, I did want him to look like a serial killer because this mask almost looks like a Jason mask, and with his arms down and like fists kind of clenched. It really gives off that effect. I can't believe he doesn't look. He is knocked out, man. He is just like so tired. And we hardly did anything today. Took him for a walk this morning, of course, but it's not like he had a whole lot of physical activity. Well, he was jumping up and down on the couch a lot. But he's been a little off today. I don't know what it is. Maybe just because maybe the wet weather's made him all gloomy or something. Can't tell you. Yeah, got about 7 minutes here. Happy to ask questions. Maybe you want to know who this character is or why I'm working on it. But yeah, I'm happy this is at an end. Or it's coming to an end. Oh man, did I mess this up? There's like only so far I want to go with this belt, but, oh wait, okay, I think I got it. That goes here, that goes there, here. Okay, press it over. Apparently you can erase colored pencils. That has not been my experience. But moving on, but maybe they make strides in colored pencils. That was just the cheap kind. I can say. I just always assumed that once you put down a colored pencil, it's on there. It's done. There's no erasing it. Got a belt. Could be a little tricky, but thankfully I still got a straight, fine edge here. Going in. Yeah, I just love horror movies. I need to watch Friday the 13th. So fun. So campy. I've been watching Scary Movie. God. I watched the first one today, and like the Scary Movie series, the parody movies, and those were just so huge at the time. I think I was in middle school when the first one came out. It was just everything. It was like, oh my god, where did this brilliance been? got carried away. They became too big. Like all those parody movies, it's like, ugh, they're too much. But they were probably making some bank though. Is the thing. Too big to fail. There's a documentary gonna come out about it at some point. It's like, what the hell was with all those parody movies? People love the parody movies. That one. That one. Still kind of looks like an owl. That's the thing, I hope it isn't too light. Yeah, we did cover a lot of ground. I am very happy about that. I think I'll work on this side. I'm just happy that he looks formidable. So formidable. And even though this looks sketchy, you do get a lot of the detail with the rendering. I like that one artist who does like the creepy coloring book drawings. That guy disappeared from my algorithm. I want more of him. Of course, I should probably follow him, but he has such a creepy voice too. I really enjoy that. And he's a good artist too. I mean, he does things to a coloring page that I could never imagine. But I'm sure that was a trend, and it was probably a pretty successful one. There's still some artists trying to do the dollar store coloring book challenge, and I've considered doing it a few times, but I'm just like, I have too much stuff to do. I'm never going to be able to resell that. If anything, I get more followers, some more viewers. But, man, it's a lot to commit. Even if it's just an hour. But spend an hour on this. I am happy with that. Where am I here? But yeah, let's move that over so people can see. Doing the stuff in the foreground here helps illustrate definition of the background too. Because you have a lot of drop shadows and things to help sell that these things exist in the physical form. The other fun thing about the hands are like, kind of gives you an idea where someone's anatomy is at, as in like the artist preference of anatomy. Like, I don't know, you look at the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo uses a lot of the same hand, like even the one he uses for God when he, in the creation of Adam. It's interesting. Like you see that hand almost everywhere. It's almost like he took reference of something they drew once and then traced it over and over again, which is there's nothing wrong with it. You're tracing over your own work, but and it probably saves a lot of time. Hell, the less time above the less time spending painting a ceiling, probably the better. Have you ever painted a ceiling? Like, I just came to the realization that Michelangelo was basically a muralist, as well as a sculptor, among many things. Master artist, blah, blah, blah. But let's see if I can end this in a minute on a good note. On a good hand. And then we'll be able to post on the story. But yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's the posterboy89. And reach out if you want commissions. Yeah, my YouTube page has all my links. But yeah, feel free to engage and come hang out with me next week, which I should probably be working on one of those X-Men covers I was talking about. Most likely, it'll be an Emma Frost